welcome.
Yeah, thank
you.
A little
more improved from the last time we did this.
Yeah, without a doubt.
A lot of people don't realize the first time you were actually my first guest when it comes to actually talking about it. The first two episodes I did was just me, and then you're actually my first guest. It wasn't in person; it was more virtual with everything going on. But hey, little by little, we keep moving up. So for people who don't know you, introduce yourself.
My name is Devin Ortiz. I am from San Diego, and I mean, a little bit more about myself. We could get into that and get it deep into the weeds, but I started living on my own when I was 15 years old. I met my dad when he was in prison. I woke up, went to work on my 18th birthday, got fired as I walked through the door.
Damn, I don't know that part.
And then from there, enjoyed my birthday on my 18th birthday, but the next day it was like, man, I've had a crazy life already, but my soul is already tired. Do I want to continue down the same road in which I am, and I just turned the legal age of 18? How am I going to sustain a life this way without long-term depression, without going to prison, without this, all negatives, right? So what do I got to do in order to build some of myself, have some benefits, entitlement, instill some discipline, morals, ethics, and give me a sense of direction?
Is that kind of what got you going to the Army originally?
That's the first thought that entered my mind the day after I turned 18, and that was literally what turned the tide in my life to get me to receive the information from a recruiter and or anyone in a structured environment. Because coming from where I come from, structure, I just really wasn't about it.
Yeah. Just kind of going by the motion.
And just wanted to live on my own terms. But this life is a marathon, and if you're trying to operate solely, I mean, it's gonna, with no sense of direction, no morals, no ethics, no, hard work, any type of baseline, it's gonna be a crazy, long, hard road. So just turning the thought process in the right direction is what provided me the opportunity to allow other leaders to enter my life, which then, one of the greatest gifts was serving my country.
There you go, man. For you, because you hit on a good topic there, a lot of people, whether you post something that, like, oh, I served in the military, and people, every now and then might leave a comment like, oh, I can't join the military because if somebody's in my face, and you're talking about authority, structure, and everything. Was it hard for you at first to kind of change it, or was it more of a respect thing? I think people don't realize once you go into kind of the government scene and like, hey, you're not mommy, daddy no more. You're legal age. You belong to United States of America. I'm gonna kick your motherfucking ass. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Was that challenging for you at all?
So
like the structure part of it.
Structure was not after I overcame the mental obstacle, which was throughout my life. I was suspended 29 times by the time I hit 9th grade. Obviously, I had a challenge with authoritative figures within my life and just rebelling on a massive scale to where I was tired, my soul. I said, you know what? If this is what they're willing to offer, I'm going to go there with a blank canvas, and I'm going to just allow them to mold me the way that the system's built, and let's just see what it has to offer. So they said jump, I said how high. I didn't ask why,
Same way, it was the exact same way. You just turned 18. For me, when I signed up, I was talking to one of my guests last week, my buddy Gino. He kind of had that, like, hey, I just wanted to go, everything. For me, I knew nothing about the Army. And it was a question I asked almost every guest. What did you know about the Army? Did you know anything like, oh, you have to have a mandatory this? A lot of people don't realize, people who aren't in the military, who are listening to the podcast, you have a mandatory 8 years. Whether it be all active duty, all reserve, you still have a mandatory 8 years. How you serve that, I don't really fucking care, as long as you serve it.
Yeah.
For me, didn't know, I was like, went in there like, hey, how does 4 years sound for you? Sure, fuck it, let's do it. No idea. Then I learned the basic training. Oh yeah, I'm going home. I was like, what the fuck you mean going home? I was like, I'm staying here. Why are you going home? Oh, I'm in National Guard. What the fuck's National Guard? Like, no instance, I had no idea what that is. Did you have any idea of like, oh, I know I want this kind of contract? Did you know anything about it at all?
Zero. I knew nothing about the contracts. I was the first, when you're speaking about that, right, where you're going whatnot, also, everyone at that time was like in one big room. drill sergeants or whoever our intake instructor, who here got bonuses? Everyone raising their hand. I was like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, me too. I was the only person. They all looked at me like,
me and 2 other individuals were the only people out of a company of over 200 to not get bonuses and just got shafted. But
out of everybody, yeah, I was the only person.
it is what it is, and I'm blessed for it. I got to learn from square one, step one. No, hey, you get a little rank when you get in because of school or whatnot. Nothing. E1 as you get, E fuzzy, and I learned from there. I didn't know what parade rest was. I didn't know what zero prep at all. I just showed up, was at the recruiter's office, and was like, hey, I'm ready to go. They said, how fast you want to go? I said, yesterday. They were like, Fort Leonard Wood in 13 days. And I was in Fort Leonard Wood within 13 days in basic training, and that's all she wrote from there. As far as, you know, I mean, my intake or any basics about it, I didn't have any of that.
What was your experience? I know everybody's experience is different, right? My basic from everybody's, right, compared to if they joined in the 80s, if they joined recently, everybody says their basic training is like, oh, mine was severe, or mine was this, mine was this. I'm always going to say, the only reason why basic training was challenging was because somebody fucked up. Somebody fucked up, and then we all got fucked up. I thought basic training was a joke. I thought it was too easy in regards to like the physical aspect of it, because I was so prepared. I didn't know shit about the Army, but I knew I have to be in shape. And the only thing that fucked me up ever was people fucking. Like, did you find it super hard? Was it challenging to you, like physical aspect wise? Like, did you have to meet the 2 mile, a certain, like, did you have to push yourself at all? Any of that happen to you at all?
Every single aspect, from folding your bed the right way to physical fitness to intaking the information, every single aspect was hard for me.
I remember folding the bed was like the most difficult thing for me at first. I was like, dude, how the fuck do you do this? And I would look at somebody literally do it. It's like, dude, you just fold it this way and that way. It's so crazy how people don't realize that, how structured they mold you even from the very beginning process like you're talking about, compared to you get so used to it afterwards that it just becomes second nature. The biggest thing for me that was different and challenging for me was, I think, just trying to get along with people, not fucking them up, because everybody's doing good and there's always that one motherfucker no matter what. All right, we're all good, and you look at Private fucking Jones, fucked up again, once again, fucked up again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Did you have any like cool stories, cool memories about just somebody who's a constant fuck up, if you can remember?
Oh, without a doubt, but we also have Fight Club after hours. So it's like, hey, when that shit happens, you get in the mollywop at the end of the day, and there's accountability across the board. You are entering the armed services. We're in a combat role. We had not only basic training, but AIT, which is our advanced individual training, all in one. So there was some just seamless transition from basic training to learning your actual trade, and there was no difference. So it was very long. It was about 16, 17 weeks from start to finish of just nothing but getting your ass whooped mentally, physically, emotionally.
I gotta ask, did you have stress cards?
Nah.
No, me either.
I heard
a new thing. That's
what I heard, but I don't know. I didn't want to. Most of the time, I'll spread the rumors for sure, but the whole stress card thing, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to look into that or believe that, because that's real. I feel like a very soft approach to it, but hey, I'm sure there's someone that studied the analytics more than me. Maybe people need it. I know that people absolutely do need some type of pause, timeout, some talks, some pep talks. I came across a few people that are near and dear to my heart that had some challenging times going through basic training, AIT, maybe threw out the word suicide or you know, I mean, mentioned something about it that then put them on suicide watch, that are great individuals to this day that have literally served our country and paid either the ultimate sacrifice or very close to. And one of my friends that was in one of these positions lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. And at first he didn't want to honor the contract anymore. He was just like, hey, I signed the dotted line thinking that I knew that this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that I'm here, I realize this is not what the fuck I want, and I want to get out. But like they tell you, the fastest way to get out is just do your time.
True.
You already inked the dotted line. So then from there, after a few nights of keeping them awake, hey bro, I'm not hating on you, but if I gotta stand next to the rack and I'm losing sleep, you're losing sleep as well, you know what I mean? And shout out to Marco for being a stand-up individual, amazing human, a great American, and one of the selfless individuals that I've ever met. And he pushed on, got stationed in Germany, got deployed with many, many people at my basic training class, and he lost both of his legs, but he's a proud American, and he puts in the hard work every day. I'll share him on the Instagram and everything.
Yeah.
Bro,
definitely.
he posted something the other day. I was like, oh, it's cold in the shack today. And he's living in Minnesota, and it's 20 degrees. He's working out with no legs. The fuck is your excuse?
Exactly. And vice versa, we all have our kind of deployments that we went on, different stories. I have so many friends like that who relate to that, losing arms, and it's so crazy how, to us, it's normal to still cope with them and like nothing's ever changed. And the biggest difference that I've seen where people try to relate, it's like, oh, how could you go into the Army? How could you leave your family and do this? And people don't really understand it. And a lot of the reasons why I wanted to bring you back on here is because from your story when I first interviewed you to now getting a little bit more depth into again, is the success and the relationships you always build with your brotherhood. And something that, unless you do this kind of a job, you'll never build that kind of foundation. What molded you when you decided to join the military, you can see it, how that structure that you weren't from before, knowing you now personally, has helped you so much further now. And the craziest thing for me was trying to see, how can I help people? How can I give people a platform for this reason? And one of the reasons why I was like, dude, I gotta interview Deven again, was for your resources that you have and helping veterans and anybody who is serving right now and wants to purchase a home for that reason.
Mm.
You definitely, man, you bathed me in a good way, bro. Like everything else that I thought I knew about it, oh, you know, the Google, like, oh, I'll look this up. Okay, I know about that, the VA loan. All right, I'm good to go. As soon as I talked to you and you actually went in detail and actually explained everything, I was like, fuck, I'm stupid. But it shows how unrealistic that we don't get prepared to know about these facts. And for transition, right, going from basic training, you did your time, you served how many years in the Army? 10 years. Transition after that, you got into real estate pretty early. I remember you were telling me that. What made you want to kind of educate more? Is it something you saw personally when you were going into real estate, like somebody didn't give you enough info and you're like, you know what, I want to give more people more info, like I want to help them more? What kind of transition that for you?
There was a few different things. It was one, me understanding that real estate is huge. It's literally every single person cares about where they put their head at every night. Food, clothing, shelter. Shelter is the most expensive of those three, and it's something that can impact your family for a while after you're gone.
Very true.
So while I was on active duty, and I had an uncle that was like, hey, you getting BAH, bro. You need to do something with that. I'm like, what you mean? I'm 18, 19, right? He's like, you gotta buy a house. I chicken shit. And I didn't do it when I was 18, 19, but then I came around 21 years old, talked to him again on Easter. He's like, hey, what's up? You get a house yet? I said, nah, but I think I'm ready. Let's talk about it. He said, all right, well, add up how much rent you paid the past few years since 18 to 21 now. You have no return on investment in that money. Add it up as one lump sum. It was a lot. I forgot how much it was, but I circled it. And I said, I want to find a way to have a return on investment from the money I'm putting in the shelter. He said, you're already going to rent rooms with people, whatnot. Find a way to leverage the bank's money, get qualified, and house hack, rent out the rooms. So through my first real estate experience, I realized that, wow, there's a massive gaping hole within the industry when it comes to education. But two, I also realized that there was a massive gaping hole within the military's educational platform. They give you a class on how to fold your bed, how to make your bed, when to use hygiene, how to properly brush your teeth or whatnot. But they're not gonna give us education on one of the best benefits that can have the most impact. And that's exactly why it's one of our benefits that's the least utilized. Because the military structure is not briefing us on how to actually properly utilize this loan product that is a benefit to the veteran for serving the country. Why are we not educating?
Why do you think there is that disconnect? Because I know from firsthand experience, and when you transitioned out, right, when you were ETSing, I'm pretty sure you saw, like, from at least when I ETS, they don't really fucking prepare you. They kind of give you classes like, hey, attend these workshops, do this, do that. We'll
yeah,
show
tabs.
you
Here's a crash course on a few whatever. But that person giving you the VA home loan brief, the this brief, the that brief, do they toe the line each and every day and walk the steps necessary in order to truly guide you?
Fuck no.
No, they just read it out of a book. They're supposed to be there and present. They probably don't even own their own house.
I'll be right.
They may or may not even be a veteran. They may or may not even have the entitlement to the loan product that they're teaching.
Very true, very true.
So if you're not living what it is you're teaching, to me, you're merely just faking.
Mm-hmm.
So to circle back to your initial question was how I got into education, what made it, it was a few different components. It was understanding the value of a structure, understanding that there was a massive opportunity for growth within the real estate industry as far as representation, education, and then that there was a massive opportunity for growth within the educational realm for our active duty, our reservists, our retirees, and our veterans. And that if I identify this massive gaping hole, if not you, then who? So then from there, I just took it upon myself to say, you know what? I keep searching for all these things. I mean, I started having anxiety and a little bit of depression when I was in the service. I was on track to retire at 28 years old. But it wasn't about retiring, put my feet up or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something inside me. I started going to psychologists, and you know what they kept telling me? That's your internal spirit. That's you telling you that you're probably not doing what exactly is truly fulfilling.
You got more in you, man.
You got more in you. There's certain things that you're destined for. Let's talk about it. And as we started to talk about it, I started to understand, oh, it's time for me to get out. It's time for me to hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
I love the military. It provided me so much. It saved my life. Saved my life because when I was, before the age of 18, my number one goal was to go to prison, be just like my pops. And as long as I made $100 a day and a few other things, that from there I felt like I would be, that was my level of success. Small mind thinking, limiting beliefs, inner city survival or urban survival, just mindset.
Just a typical thing.
Yeah, it's a typical thing that most of us face.
Yeah, I've seen so many people, I mean, I grew up in the kind of the same neighborhood. I've seen a lot of my friends like that have so much potential and just, that's the norm for them. That's the norm. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the military. I was just fucking bored of seeing the same shit. I'm like, I do not want to do a 9-to-5 job. Nothing against people who love their 9-to-5 job, like you said, right? If their soul is fulfilled and they're happy and they're winning, you're winning, man. You're happy. Good job for you. For me, that's fucking average. I hate being fucking average. And that's just something I didn't want to do. One of the reasons why I was originally gonna retire in the military. After deployments and everything, I was like, fuck, dude, I can't do this for 20 fucking years. Fuck. I was like, I'm good. Thank you. I'm so proud that I wore those boots, but my time was up.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your first class? Because I've seen you do education classes from just looking up on your Instagrams and us talking. Your first educational class that you gave, do you remember that one at all? In regards to the Vietnam?
Ooh. I do not remember the first one because it was more of a immersion.
Gotcha.
through owning a few homes of my own, utilizing a civilian loan product because I was not educated that I had and or possessed a VA loan, and then understanding, oh wait, I was misguided, got a VA loan. From there, you know what I mean, I built an accessory dwelling unit on my property, and then got into real estate. Education was part of some of the training programs in which I was a part of through specific teams and or brokerages that I was on. And then I got tied to you know what I mean, the number one sales team in the state of California for one office, and started understanding their systems, their processes, the educational platforms, and then slowly emerged into a VA home loan expert slash beast. Because I was taking in a lot of data, doing small presentations, and then eventually getting to the seminar, webinar role.
Love it.
But to answer, you know, I mean, the question, I don't remember the first one, because I try and impact someone every single day. Even if it can never be reciprocated, anything, I try and educate or have to be a positive impact on someone each day. So I don't remember the very first time.
What has been, and everybody's different, right, on how they give. I've done interviews in this, and I can really see that certain emotions come out, right, whether it be dealing with depression, and just I can see somebody just talking about something they never talked about before, and like, oh my gosh, that I needed that without it actually saying it. For you doing these courses, have you noticed like just people as you're giving them, whether they're transitioning out of the military or they're buying their first home, and look at you like, fuck, I didn't know we had this. Like, has that gratitude hit you yet? Like, in the sense where you see people like, fuck, I didn't know this. Because I got that when you gave me the info. I was like, fucking hey, I didn't even know any of this.
Every time I present, whether it's literally one-on-one or 100 or however many people in the room, there is always that, wow, oh my goodness. There was just such a huge gap of what I thought I knew and what was actually attainable and what is ready for me right now. The biggest obstacle is that people don't have the information necessary to make a well-informed, so I'm there to give them the information to make a well-informed decision.
What's been for you doing this as often as you do? You're in the grind every day like you tell me, bro. What's been the biggest like misconception you've seen of somebody come to you like, hey Devin, you know, I'm very interested in getting a house, I'm very interested in using a VA loan, and going through the motion with them. What's been like the biggest misconception that you get them out of?
Misconception of all, which then leads back into, I feel like a question we did not answer thoroughly earlier, was why is there a lack of education? Why is the command structures not doing a good job at educating? Is because they think it's salesy. We're bringing in people to sell to our people. No, I'm educating, and through the natural progression of education, yes, it's going to lead to a sale because buying a house is what's best for you. Shelter keeps getting more and more expensive. I'm not saying you have to buy now. It just needs to fit in your future. So the biggest misconception is that I cannot buy, I do not know how, I do not have enough money in order to purchase a home.
It's funny that you say that, but it's so true, and it makes me smile when you say that. Like, people think it's salesy, and I get that. I mean, you know my background, bro. I work at 24. I get that from people being healthy, and my biggest question I always give them, like, why are you saying no to fitness? Why don't you want to be healthy? Because I'm trying to sell you a gym? No, I'm trying to sell you health. And it baffles me that you say that. It makes me smile. Like, damn, people will say the same thing about their home, where they want to live, where they want to grow their children, where they want to get those memories. And the craziest thing that somebody can say is that, I think, just the minute they hear anything about sales, it's like, I'm done, I'm okay.
Yeah, check out.
Yep.
But that's why you also have to deliver it to where it's not sales. You have to truly focus on the material and not me. If you give me any command structure, gives me a room with 100 Marines, 100 soldiers, coasties, sailors, it doesn't matter. I don't care if none of them purchase. Why? Because, and or purchase with me. Because I believe in the energy I'm putting out in this world, and I'm giving you the information necessary to make a well-informed decision that can change the landscape, your financial landscape, of future generations to come within your family's lineage.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing that people forget. It's not something so much just now, like you said, the lineage. And, I mean, it speaks a lot of volume. It speaks to so much volume that these are things that, as you transition, right, going throughout your years, I look at the bigger picture in like the military ways. I still don't think that for some reason they don't utilize that. How they kind of gotten away from, we should always hire ex-military to come teach classes, whether DOD, whether it be private contractors to come teach classes. Now it's like all military based now. Budget cuts and everything, I get that. But I wish they had people like you. Like, that was part of their exit. Like, nah, you don't fucking leave yet. You don't get out of the military yet until you do this course. Just like I have to fucking sit in this, any sexual harassment course that we had to do, any briefing courses that we had to do. Like, hey, you have to do this if you want to go home. And I wish that in a sense to a point where people see, like you said, they don't have to buy right now. Look in the future. Look in the future where it could help you so much. And maybe not even you, like you even told me the first time. It may not be for you right now. But just seeing your journey, some people may hit you up like, dude, I've been trying to get home. I didn't know what you used to be alone. Yo, dude, let me get your boy Devin. And then they had a home that they never thought they could get. Just because of that small aspect that they were missing.
Yeah, there's just a lot of misinformation and a lot of myths out there. I literally have an email sitting in my inbox right now from a commander of a military unit that literally put on paper that it would be better to utilize a civilian conventional loan product and put down 20% than it is to utilize a VA zero down loan product. It was just so baffling to me. And we're not going to name drop, but bottom line is that if there is people within command structures within the military, that means it's plagued all over. So, I mean, it's misconceptions. He hasn't been thoroughly educated like the first sergeant and the sergeant major that I helped purchase on Camp Pendleton, that between the two of them own 19 homes.
Damn.
It's part of their retirement plan. They've utilized their VA loan throughout the course of their careers to build financial security outside of the military, which who knows? It could be paying for their children's tuition, doing, who knows, taking care of additional medical expenses, helping with extended family, utilizing things that you have to build others up or provide them and or save them from whatever life is doing to them at that very moment. So there's multiple different ways that you can look at the value of real estate and how to leverage not only the property, but the equity positions, the mindset, the financial literacy aspect of it. And there should be a way, and we'll just keep talking about it until someone with a high enough rank says, you know what, we're gonna bring Devin Ortiz and his staff in because we're merely gonna educate. That's what I do, is just educate, and if they buy through me, they buy through me. If they don't, no harm, no foul. I'm merely here just to provide you the information so that you can speak with absolute certainty instead of hypotheticals.
Oh, I love that. And it's true though. It's true so many times where, even when I had questions with you, when we're kind of going down our road and everything, it's like, oh, what about this kind of question? Or just the simple things where I'll look into something, I'm like, straight up, man, shut the fuck up, don't do that, like, it's done this way. And I love that though, because it helps me, and I think it helps people realize, like, fuck, man, there's so many sources that us as veterans or even active duty have that we could utilize, we just fucking don't for some reason. It's crazy that example you said, because I was going to go into a question about that, was kind of like the craziest email you've gotten about to come to a seminar or something like that, and then as soon as you're done, you're like, wow, I didn't know that. But you kind of answered it already. That's insane that somebody could actually give you that email in a sense. And not really, I think the downside of a lot of military structure, and you see that sometimes in business, is you're stuck in your old ways. You're very stuck in your old ways of, no, this is what I got taught 20 years ago, so no, I'm not changing it. Time to change, motherfucker. It's going to change for a reason.
Yeah.
But going on there more, go over with me a little bit more for people listening who maybe want to take advantage, maybe not this year, but going into early next year and stuff like that. And that's a quick topic for somebody who's in real estate and helps people with the VA loan. What is like the best time? That was a question I had when I was first. I was like, what's the best time to get a home? Is there certain times that you're supposed to get a home, or a certain value more priced? Especially in 2020, has that affected anything else like the typical norm?
That's a lot of questions all in one, Anthony, but I'll try and cover them all. There is no bad time to buy, and the reason I say that is because people within the industry have a hard time timing the market. So if you think that you're gonna get into home ownership at the best time possible, it's probably gonna be luck that happens to. So that's why I recommend to people, you don't over leverage yourself. You analyze the numbers, purchase within your means, and purchase when it's convenient and, you know what I mean, okay with your family scenarios, congruent with what you got going on in life. Because if you wait to purchase and you're trying to time the market, what if something happens, job shuts down, stuff like that, you lose your job, COVID gets shut down, you're probably next to rebuttal is gonna be Devin, why would you ever get someone a home to where they lose their job? There's certain people that are gonna find a way no matter what. They save reserves, families, certain situations, they're gonna never miss their mortgage. We have one of the lowest foreclosure ratings for a reason, and that's because when we sign the dotted line, we own up. We're men and women of our words, and we have followed through. So, I would say when it's convenient for you, you should look into purchasing. And number one gets into just seeing, do you qualify? That's the biggest obstacle. Can you qualify for the loan product itself? And then we could talk about how it fits in to your long-term, your short-term goals. And if you do not qualify, don't worry, because I've partnered with the official sponsor of the USO and Guaranteed Rate with a specific branch manager that cares about people, is heart-led, is a leader within the community, and we're here to become a pillar within the community for all loan products across the board, but we specifically love our, you know what I mean, VA folks. And that if you do not qualify, don't worry, we're gonna provide you a step-by-step program that creates accountability and has a date associated with it so that we can keep each other accountable for the timelines that we're setting forward. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 month, 11 months, or 11 years, we're just gonna create a roadmap. Because without the roadmap, how do you know where you're going?
True. And you hit something before you finished all the questions I asked, my bad. What is the difference? That's a good question I think most people have. I know just talking, right? Bullshitting at the gym sometimes and just people talking about their business. What's the difference between getting qualified, let's say, for like a home without using a VA loan, to what specifics do you need to like qualify, like you said? Do you need a certain credit score for the VA loan? Do you need...
Well, it depends who you talk to. Okay. So that's why we can really get into the weeds in here, because Navy Federal is going to tell you. I love Navy Federal. Let's start first and foremost there. They have every one of my bank accounts. I got my auto loan, you name it, through them. However, I've never let them service one of my loan products. That's just clear cut, straight across the board, and that's because there's certain overlays in which they put on the VA loan to where they pitch it as if that is part of the VA loan product. And that one of those is minimum credit score. You go into Navy Federal, they may tell you don't qualify, you need 640. We've gotten people called in the 500s. Navy Federal won't let you purchase more than a duplex with your VA loan. But did you know you can purchase a triplex or a fourplex? And you can utilize the other unit's income to qualify for the loan? To where you live in one unit, you utilize the other 3 units rental income to qualify for the loan, and you collect those rents every single month to then subsidize your overall mortgage. And depending on the property, I've met people where day one, those rents cover the mortgage and they're making a profit. So every dollar in which they earn in their normal job, they're now living for free. Why? Because they have the intestinal fortitude to seek additional information and then implement the VA loan strategically. And now every dollar in which they make is now going towards their piggy bank.
It makes me smile, right? Because I go more into the weeds with you. I get to know, because I remember when I was first applying, before I hit you up, bro, I was just kind of looking through it. And of course, if you go on the website, Navy Fed, United, which is like the most
USAA,
United
Veteran Home Loan or something like that. A bunch of them, and they use a lot of like veteran tag words,
which got my attention
Mhm.
for that reason.
Oh, Veterans United.
There you go, Veterans United. There you go. And I was actually the first one who, like I told you before, they approved me originally before, like super fast. It was weird. It was a weird process because he was in contact with me, the person, and then it's like, oh, I'll follow up in a week, and then the next day, like, oh, you're approved. Here's everything.
Mm.
Like, what happened to like, hey, we'll follow up. We'll go more over detail. That just like all got wished away, and it's crazy that people kind of do those stipulations that they have to meet the underlines and stuff like that. And that's where I think people have that sour taste where the salesy part comes into it, where it's like, oh, well, you gotta do this, let's get your credits scored here, well, if you pay this much, we'll get you here, and then so on and so forth. The bad taste in my mouth that I had when I hit you up was that, right, the Veterans United of kind of like the tags, like, hey, 100% guaranteed, we've done this. I even asked the guy too, like, what's the normal like turnaround? Like, let's say I found a home, loved it, made an offer and everything. What's the turnaround I would get with you guys? Just kind of, I want to know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
30 days, guaranteed. Oh, wow, that's pretty fast for me. Not knowing, of course, what actually worked. And I remember when I was going on house tours with you, just the reaction you gave to somebody, I forgot what house it was, but he's like, oh, it's usually a 40-day turnaround right now. And you just kind of broke it in. It's like, dude, I'm 17 days, motherfucker. Like, I got you. Hit me up. And he just kind of looked like, oh shit, 17 days? I'm contacting your guy.
Yeah.
That was kind of what irked me. And when you told me, not only raised me up from what that dude approved me of, motherfucker, but giving me that kind of breakdown of everything. What would be advice for you? Like, do you recommend them to always just do research first? Or I remember you even told me, look at your options. Look at your options for that reason. Do you recommend just always look at the options or just kind of play out?
I think you should always do your own research. I think you should always look at the options, and that all the information's at our fingertips these days.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be lazy, put in the work necessary. Anything that has instant gratification is typically not worth it. Anything that has delayed gratification is typically worth it, and you remember it for life, and it has a long-lasting impact. So, of course, find a subject matter expert. Contact me or anyone else that you know, or anyone that's associated with the VA loan that you feel can provide you information necessary. But also, don't be lazy and go and get the information yourself and or seek additional information, and then cross-reference that with your subject matter expert.
Compared to, you've been doing real estate how long?
2 years professionally.
2 years professionally. Love it. I love it though because it doesn't seem like it, right? It becomes such a natural resource for you that it doesn't seem like you're doing it for 2 years. It seems like you've been doing 20 years, which I love.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter whether you've done it 30 years, because if you do the first year 30 times, I mean, you just did your number 1 year 30 separate times. You didn't grow upon that, right? So it's not to toot my own horn, and it's not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I'm doing things that people have been in the industry for 30, 35 years that haven't been able to do what I've done in 2 years. The average agent sells 4 homes a year.
Mm-hmm.
Sold over 60 my first 24 months.
Yeah.
There's other things, not only just that 1 year I negotiated my clients on the buyer side, not including the initial price reduction, just within contract of taking other chunks out of the apple, $147,000 in additional credits to then help them with repairs and or pay off personal debt, things like that. There's times where there's only $2,600 in potential repairs that need to be made, but when you have an agent like myself or any one of my team members that's trained in negotiations and that's not just a messenger, that's willing to keep their foot on the gas throughout the entire transaction and get additional credits back from the seller, we can then allocate those towards your personal benefit, i.e. paying off your car.
Mm-hmm. Which you were going to help me with.
And the sellers would never know that. They don't teach these things. But you only get to know that information when you sit down and you go through a demonstration of knowledge. What is the VA loan? How is it applicable? How is it applicable to you? How does it fit into your short-term, long-term goals? Do you know these things? Here's some of the do's and don'ts. Here's some of the ways that we can leverage the loan product for your specific situation.
You actually hit on another question I was going to ask you right now. What are some don'ts that you would kind of recommend for either first-time home buyers or somebody who's just getting back into wanting to get home?
Don't just buy anything. Understand what you're getting yourself into, that you're signing for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that you should make a well-informed decision and understand how merely just different structures can impact your life, your family's life, things like that. Let me give you a great example. You may be searching for a condo or a townhome because you feel like that is what you know that's what you can afford, and that you don't want to over leverage yourself. However, you qualify for a little bit more money, you just don't want to spend that because the bank's always going to give you more than probably what you feel comfortable spending. However, after sitting down with me and understanding that we could purchase a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, but we stick with just a duplex, that then we can secure a duplex for you, and maybe you only want to spend $2,000 a month. And this mortgage for the duplex can be $3,000 a month. And you're immediately like, no, I'm good. Merely straighten the numbers, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
What about your moms? Does your mom's rent, your uncle, this, that, or the rest? Who around you? Do you have anyone that rents from you? Or rents around you? Someone within 25 miles, something like that? You could provide value. So say we get this duplex, the mortgage is $3,000. The average rent, say, is $1,500. We put your family in one unit. You have still all your own privacy. You have all your own utility meters. Your mortgage is $3,000. Your family's probably paying more than $1,500 in rent already.
Guaranteed.
So,
like what the typical apartment right now is like what, $2,000?
Yeah, so say you round down, right? So you're getting them a great deal. You're reducing their monthly obligation for their, structure for their life now to a $1,500 investment each month. They pay that to you. They have their own property right there. Guess what? That subsidizes your $3,000 mortgage, $1,500. So now your monthly obligation for the property is $1,500. So now we just changed some of your family's lives, positively impacted yours while leveraging the loan product to the max, while creating a comprehensive plan that is beneficial to you now, beneficial to your family, as well as your long term. Why? Because now you have 2 properties for the price of 1. Even after you and your family move out, everyone gets their own houses, get into your dream homes, you still have a structure that's income producing. You have 2 units, and you're locked in at whatever the purchase price was when you bought it. And the great thing about VA loans, especially today, is that it's the lowest in history. It was created in 1944, and we're getting 2% interest rates.
What's the typical interest rate? Because I remember you went over those numbers with me. Like you said, well, compared to last year, what was it like the rates compared to last year to this year?
I mean, in the 3s, 16 months ago, in the 4s,
Oh, wow.
in the 90s, around 8%, 8.5%, 9% in the 90s, in the 80s, people were paying anywhere from 15 to 18.5% interest rate.
That's insane.
People also need to be educated on that. This isn't commonly taught. They don't teach how to leverage the bank's money, how to qualify for this, and how to identify the numbers and the financial literacy within our public school systems where we come from.
It's true.
So we need to educate our people in order to have a change. And if we want change, it starts with education.
It's definitely true where, going back into that, shit, I can't even think of one time I think I had a fucking finance class in high school that I can think of. I don't know if you did, but I can't think of any finance class I ever had.
I didn't even finish high school.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
you know what that GED is? I got a good enough degree.
But, that speaks volumes right there, right? I think a lot of times people want to learn so much from you doing it, right? 2 years. And prior to that learning as you're going, do you think people just have so much, it's more fear that stops them from like, hey, I want to look into it, into like buying a home.
Everything is fear. You can either fear everything and run, or you can face everything and rise, but they do not teach resilience within our school system. They teach, oh, you're depressed, you go over here, you get some pills, you're good. Why? Because that hooks into a specific cycle that creates money for the government. It is the unknown and understanding that you just have to go and seek additional information, that you have to find a way. Your way is not built for me, that's not built for anyone else. It's your way, you need to blaze your own path, take in some information, find what's applicable, discard what is not, and create your own. So it is the fear of the unknown, and that is what's suppressing our people. And guess what? The government is not going to educate, because then they're going to have a bunch of people that are not fearing the unknown.
Very true.
That's going to make great decisions, and the system's built a certain way. We love the government, we are proud to be Americans, but let's just keep it straightforward, direct, and 100 like we always do. The system's built a certain way, so it's up to us, whether it's you're leveraging your loan product, you're leveraging your personal situation, your family. Leverage every relationship in a positive manner in which you have in your life, and I guarantee you'll see your life just turn a completely positive direction.
Love it.
So it's the unknown that's stopping people. They just don't know how, and no one is asking the right questions. So let's just build a platform that merely just educates, and through that, we'll be, taking care of ourselves. I don't focus on money, I don't focus on anything like that. People are like, oh, what's the analytics? What's your average sale? Well, I don't know. And I truly have no idea. Why? Because I know that when I wake up, I'm structured, I have right time blocking, and I give 100% in everything that I do. It's going to yield massive dividends, and I'll be okay with whatever that does yield. Now, of course, expanding the business, team members, you have to dial in the analytics and understand where funds are going, allocation. But as a general rule of thumb, if you just put in the hard work in an efficient way, you can never be denied. And people are not educated, so they are not ever gonna overcome that hurdle of fear. Because the unknown it's fear. There's nothing to fear except for fear itself. And then when you get on the other side, you're gonna realize that, oh my God, this is what I was scared of?
So true though, so true. A lot of times, I think one of the quotes that I heard from, it was Les Brown, is one of the most richest places on earth is the grave, because all those dreams died there, because they're so scared to do it. I was like, damn, that's so true though. I guarantee you, there's so many people who passed away or just never did anything, and just so much regret because they had that what if moment. Fuck, what if I do this? Or fuck, what if I go to buy that home? And fuck, 2020 is happening, and this, and this. And yeah, like you said, it's a fearful thing that people just don't want to make that leap. Last question for you, because I don't want to take too much of your time. Best advice you would give somebody just transitioning out of the military in regards to wanting to use the VA loan?
Let's not even talk about transitioning out, let's talk about everyone involved.
There you go.
If it's your duty station, study the economic composition, the population growth, the job growth, what was the average equity the past 4 years, what's going on, and also is there a potential for you to purchase at this next duty station without overextending yourself, ensuring that you have a rock solid investment, and that then could potentially play a factor in your financial security, and then later into your financial freedom. And you should think about purchasing at all times, especially if we're only speaking about VA right now. I know we're on Grunt Talk, so it's definitely going to be 99.9% military folks. But I feel like it's not only transitioning service members, because the VA entitlement is not a one and done entitlement. You can utilize it time and time and time and time again. So why not utilize it sooner so the clock starts ticking? Because that average contract and or the average amount of payments you'll pay over a home loan is 360, 30 years. You don't have to make all those payments. And statistics show that you probably won't. You only live in that first home anywhere from 4 to 7, and or a max if you're active duty for 4 years if you're enlisted, 3 years if you're an officer. But I know plenty of people that have created so much wealth off even purchasing at their new duty station and or as soon as they get out, whenever it fits in, and then they're able to utilize that structure to either sell off, take all the proceeds, roll into the next one. Like I said, life circumstances hit, maybe you got out, but you purchased while you were still in. Now you have $150,000 equity, and you got out and something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Medical bills, family emergency, something. You could leverage that property in order to take care of whatever it is in which you need to take care of. There's a whole lot that we can go over, and I don't even feel like I've been here for more than 10 minutes, to be honest.
I was like, damn, we've been here for a good minute.
Yeah, so you're not taking up any of my time. If you want to keep it going, ask a few more questions or touch base, it's completely up to you.
We have just actually, the limit that I have here is just like till 1:30.
Got it.
So that is the last question.
That is the last question. All right.
We can definitely talk more, bro. Definitely we'll bring you back again. I'm a fan of what you do. I'm a fan of the knowledge you give for people for that reason. But I always give people that last little segment here. Tell people, one, where they can find you, whether it be social media, whether it be your actual in office for people, how to contact you to get in touch with you.
Yeah, my name's Devin Ortiz, and you can contact me at Devin Ortiz on Instagram, at Devin Ortiz Real Estate on Facebook. You can catch me at Forest Ranch, just opened a brand new office at the Forest Common Town Center, as well as reach out to me. If I'm awake, I will answer my phone. That is my honest promise to you. 760-420-1284. Not only about home loans, if you're battling depression, anxiety, anything, the battlefield, the mind is the ultimate battlefield. So if you need someone to talk to, please reach out. We also assist service members transitioning with getting in touch with people like and or organizations like the Disabled American Veterans. There's things that we did not speak about today that play a role in your life, your VA benefits, as well as how it plays a role into your actual VA home loan. And if you have 10% or more in VA disability, there's no VA funding fee, anything. We'll cover that another time, but we'll help you get in touch with those that'll better serve you out here in the community. So please reach out. We are a resource for you. You are not alone. We love you. And thank you for your time today.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you.